There's a quiet revolution happening right now in how we create software. And no, it's not just about AI writing code for us. We're talking about a really deep philosophical shift that's making us question the very tools we use and what it even means to be a programmer in the first place. Okay, so let's put a name to this. The term that's kind of bubbling up is vibe coding, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Instead of writing code line by line, you're just describing the vibe of what you want. You tell the AI the goal, the feeling, the outcome you're aiming for, and you let it worry about the syntax and the semicolons. But here's where it gets really interesting. For a lot of developers, this creates this internal conflict. On one side, there's this feeling that, ugh, this is cheating, right? It takes away the joy of solving the puzzle yourself. It can even create this low-key anxiety, this feeling of not really being in control. But then there's the other side, the reality. And the reality is, it just works. This isn't a toy. It's building real, complex, powerful stuff. And this whole conflict, this tension, it actually points to a fundamental paradox about the very programming languages we've been building and using for decades. So this, right here, is a legendary quote from one of the most important computer science books ever written, and it gets to the absolute core of it. We've always thought about programming languages as being for computers, but that's not the whole story. They are first and foremost a way for people to communicate complex ideas to other people. The fact that a machine can also run it, that's almost a happy side effect. And I mean, just think about all the big leaps forward in programming languages. Rust's whole obsession with safety, C++ and its abstractions, Go's super clean way of handling concurrency, even huge ideas like object-oriented or functional programming, none of that stuff is for the computer. The computer doesn't care. All of it, every single one of those innovations is for us. They're designed to help our squishy human brains manage complexity and not make silly mistakes. So, if languages are so carefully crafted for humans, for our brains, that's where the problem starts when we try to use them with an AI. It's a fundamental mismatch. Which leads to this really mind-bending question, right? If our languages are packed with all these features designed to help humans think, why are we using them as the primary way to talk to an AI that, well, doesn't think like a human at all? This table just lays it out perfectly. Look at the left column. These are our problems as human developers. We worry about code being readable, about memory leaks, about those classic off-by-one errors that drive us crazy. But the AI, it doesn't have any of those problems. An AI doesn't get tired and forget a pointer. Its single biggest problem, as you see on the right, is just trying to figure out what the heck we actually want it to do. It's an intent problem, not a syntax problem. So, in a sense, our programming languages today are, well, they're kind of adorable, aren't they? They're so beautifully, carefully designed to solve a whole class of problems that the AI just doesn't have. So, if our current languages are the wrong tool for this new job, what does the right tool even look like? What would you build if you were designing a programming language from scratch, specifically for a human to talk to an AI? And that brings us to this really cool theoretical idea, the vibe-oriented programming language, or Avaple. And the key difference here is massive. The main goal wouldn't be for another human programmer to read it easily. The main goal would be to communicate our intent to the AI with perfect, unambiguous clarity. So what would that feel like to use? Well, you can imagine a few possibilities. Maybe it's like a kind of executable pseudocode. Super easy for us to write, but it compiles down to something incredibly complex. Or maybe it's like literate programming on steroids, where you're basically writing a design document and the AI just fills in all the code. Or maybe it's not even a formal language, but more like a specialized slang, with powerful shortcuts to tell the AI exactly what kind of concurrency model you're going for. Now, I know this all sounds pretty wild and futuristic, but this feeling of a massive, unsettling shift in how we compute, this is not new. We have been here before. I mean, just look at the history. We started with machines like the ENIAC, where programming meant physically pulling out cables and plugging them into a different spot. Then came the huge leap with the EDVAC, the idea that you could store the program in memory right alongside the data. And now, here we are just talking to the machine. Each step is a bigger and bigger abstraction away from the hardware. And here's the absolute kicker. When that stored program idea came out, people fought it. They resisted it, and just look at their reasons. They said it was slower, that it was less reliable, that it took the smart human out of the loop and threatened their jobs. Does any of that sound familiar? It's the exact same list of fears we hear about AI today. It's incredible. You had absolute pioneers, the legendary Grace Hopper, having to actively argue against this very popular belief that you could never, ever trust a computer to write instructions for another computer. It just seemed fundamentally wrong, conceptually impure. Which just brings us full circle, doesn't it? The fear, the skepticism, the feeling that this new way is somehow cheating, paired with this incredible, undeniable potential. It really is the exact same vibe. So we're left with this huge open question. If our main job is no longer to painstakingly write code for other humans to read, but instead to effectively describe our intent to an AI, what does it mean to be a programmer? The role isn't going away, not at all. It's evolving into something new, something we're all figuring out together right now.